Alright, so today, since I'm gone, we're going to try to do this a little bit way. Hopefully the sub has already handed out your sheet. If you notice on the top it says 9.1 exercises, on the back it says 9.2. So you have two-sided, and it's not too hard. It's actually very simple. So the markup and markdown, this is what we kind of talked about a little bit. This is all about your pricing, and this would be for your cash flow statement. So we're going to first start off with concepts used in pricing merchandise and markup on cost. So we're only going to get through 9.1 and 9.2 today. 9.1, we're going to identify terms used with pricing merchandise, distinguish among basic pricing variables, calculate the selling price, markup amount, and cost when any two of the three are known. Alright, so when we're going through this, if you need to pause it, you can simply click on the pause button at the bottom of your screen, and then you can rewind it or fast forward it, whatever you need to do to get to where you want to go so that you can understand how to do this. So the very first part, which is part A, are your key terms, and these are just different things that you know, so when they're talking about it, you understand what they are. So selling price, also known as retail price, is what the customer pays. So this is what the customer pays, you set this price. Cost is what the retailer pays to the manufacturer, so this would be what you would pay to the manufacturer for your item. Markup, or your gross profit, is the difference between the cost and the selling price. This is how much you get to determine this. Markup amount and dollar amount is the markup expressed in dollars, and then you also have markup rate percentage form, which is the markup expressed in percentage. Operating expenses are the expenses incurred by the business, such as rent, utilities, salaries, insurance, supplies, advertising, and so on. Net profit is the amount left over, if any, after expenses have been paid. Markdown is the percentage of the original selling price by which the selling price is reduced. And then, of course, the reduced price or discounted sale price is the selling price once marked down. These we will not get to today. These terms, they will be later on this week. But the very first sheet, the very first one, we will. So now distinguishing among basic pricing variables. So these are your equations. So selling price is equals cost plus markup. Markup is markup equals selling price minus cost. And then cost is cost equals selling price minus markup. So now you should have all of A answered for you on your sheet. Now on to objective 2 and 3 as well. So calculating the selling price, markup amount, or cost when any two are known. So Elliott's Hardware buys a tool set at a cost of $17.40 and adds $8 per set as markup to determine the selling price. So what is the selling price? So you're simply going to take $17.40 plus $8 because you have your cost, you have your markup, you just want to know how much you're going to sell them for. So it's going to be $25.40. So if you read down there on number 9, it says if the cost is $12.67 and the markup is $5, the selling price is what? So you're simply going to take $12.67 plus your $5 and that's your selling price. Okay, now the selling price is $25.40 and the cost is $17.40. Determine the markup amount. So same kind of thing, subtract the cost from the selling price to determine the markup amount. So selling price minus cost is markup. So $25.40 minus $17.40 is $8. And a tool set sells for $25.40 and the markup is $8. Calculate the cost. So you're going to subtract the markup from the selling price to calculate the cost. Selling price minus markup equals cost. So $25.40 minus $8 is $17.40. Okay, so this way you should already have A and B done for sure. Go ahead and finish the rest of this sheet. You can pause at this time or you can choose to go on. But we are going to flip over and now talk about 9.2 markup on cost. Okay, so you have some objectives on this one. We calculate the markup amount and the rate based on cost. We're going to calculate the selling price when the markup rate is based on cost. We're going to calculate the cost when the markup amount and the markup rate based on cost are known. We're going to calculate the cost when the selling price and the markup rate based on cost are known. And these are all A through E on your sheet. And then F is number 5. Use Excel to calculate cost, markup rate, and selling price based on cost. And we're going to use Excel the majority of the time, but this I just kind of wanted you to have a sheet, a hard copy, so you could understand the process by handwriting it. I always feel like you can learn better if you do it 2 different ways. So objective 1, so this is going to be an A, we're going to calculate the markup amount and the rate based on cost. So Home Interior Designs and Company pays the wholesaler $225 for wingback chair that's sold for $318. What is the markup rate based on cost? So you're going to take your selling price minus your cost, and that's your markup. So you have a $93 markup. So you want to based on your cost, so you need to take your markup and divide it by your cost, so your markup rate is 41.3. So whenever you see rate, that is your percentage. So you have two problems there for objective 1, so go ahead and complete those. You can once again always pause, continue however you need this to work. Objective 2, we're going to calculate the selling price when the markup rate is based on cost. So the cost of an office chair is $205. The markup rate is 25% of cost. So you're going to calculate the amount of markup and the selling price. So take your cost times your markup rate, and that gives you a markup. Take your cost plus your markup, and that's your selling price. So in this case, our selling price is $256.25. Here's another example. The cost of an office chair is $205. The markup rate is base cost is 25%. Calculate only the selling price. This is just another example, so you could take cost times 100% plus markup rate and equals your selling price. So 205 times 100 plus 25%, 100% plus 25%, which is 125%, which if you put that in decimal format would be 1.25. So you take 205 times 1.25 is 256.25. On Excel, this is kind of the formula that we will be using. We'll put those in parentheses. Remember that you always do what's in parentheses first, and then you move on. Order of operations. All right, objective 3, which is C. Oh, I'm sorry, we have one more, objective 2. I misplaced that. So the cost of an office chair is $205. The markup rate is 25% of the cost. Calculate the amount of the markup and the selling price. We're going to take cost times our markup rate, which is our markup. So 205 times 25%, or 0.25 in decimal format, is 51.25. Cost plus markup is your selling price, so 205 plus 51.25. Now on to objective 3. If I can get my... Alright. Objective 3, calculate the cost when the markup amount and rate based on cost are known. So the markup amount on Sheila's storage boxes is $13, which is a 36% markup based on cost. Find the cost, round to the nearest cent. Markup divided by markup rate is your cost. So $13 divided by 0.36, our cost is $36.11. So $36.11. So on C, objective 3, it says what is the cost? You're simply going to take your markup amount and divide it by your rate, and that's your cost. Okay, objective 4, we're going to calculate cost when selling price and markup rate based on cost are known. So Conn's carpet sells 4 feet by 6 feet Oriental rugs for $179, and the markup rate is 40% of the cost. We're going to find the cost of the rugs and the markup amount. So first off, we take our markup rate plus 100%. So you're going to take 40% plus 100%, which is 140%. You're going to take 179 divided by 1.4, which is 127.86. We then are going to take your selling price of 179 minus the cost, and your markup is $51.14. So it's just a little bit different way of doing it. Alright, so now in objective 5, use Excel to calculate cost, markup rate, and selling price. You could always keep this sheet here to pause it, but we are actually going to now do the Excel one. So if you need to finish the worksheet, I would first finish that. So take yourself a break and finish that. And then you need to go back to Canvas and download the first one, which is Chapter 09 EX01 file, and save it to your drive. And then we're going to do that one together. So you might need to split the screen so that you can see it. If you have trouble with that, ask people around you to help you know how to split the screen. And then you're going to do the second one on your own and save it, and we'll look at it tomorrow if you get that far. Alright, so let's go ahead and get out of PowerPoint here, and I have this ready to go. So go ahead and download it. If you need to pause, that is fine until you get it. Alright, so the nice thing about this is that it kind of already tells you how to do it down here. So this is the same type of thing. The best way you can be like, okay, I just learned how to do some of this, maybe I can figure it out. So these are going to be using formulas in Excel, and you're going to end up liking them. So the very first one, it says enter formulas in rows 6 and 7 to calculate markup rate and amount, markup amount, and amount. So the markup amount, we're going to take the selling price minus cost. So anytime you're in Excel, you're going to start with equals. So equals your selling price, which is cell E6, minus your cost. That's going to give you $4.96. Then your markup rate is your markup amount divided by cost. So equals markup amount, D6, divide by your cost, which is B6. So that's 31%. I'm going to fill these down, but they are the same formulas except for your sort. So it's E7 minus B7, and then D7 divided by B7. Okay, so these are your markups. So it's the same type of process. The best way to practice these is if you would practice them before looking down and seeing if you have them correct. So let's move on to number 2, enter formulas in row 8 and 9 to calculate markup amount and selling price. So markup amount and selling price. So markup amount is cost times markup rate. So equals cost times markup rate. So B8 times C8. Oops. And then press enter. Selling price is cost plus markup amount. So equals cost, which is B8, plus markup amount, which is D8, and it's 35.20. Same formulas, I'm just filling them down so I don't have to retype them, but same exact formulas. Now, enter formulas in row 10 and 11 to calculate cost and selling price. Cost is markup amount, so always equals markup amount. Markup amount divided by markup rate. Divide by markup rate. Okay, so 821. So then obviously the selling price is the same thing. Selling price is cost plus markup amount, so equals cost B10 plus markup amount D10, and it's 1051. Okay, so this is going to be the same formula. Equals cost here in just a minute when we have it in D11, and then once again this one was equals your C10 or C11, excuse me, divide by D11. Oops, I have that one wrong. I'm sorry. Let's redo that one real fast. 750. So it's D11 divided by C11. I had it backwards. All right, now we're going to enter formulas in rows 12 and 13 to calculate the cost and markup amount. Cost and selling price is divided by markup rate plus 100%. So remember that we must always do formulas first. So we are going to, in cell B12, cost is selling price, so it's going to equals our selling price, which is E12, divide by, and I have to put this in parentheses, C12 plus 100%. Okay, 2125. And then our markup amount is going to equal your B12, which is your cost, times C12, which is your markup rate. And it's the exact same formula you would use for both of these. Okay, so this is the exact same thing you did, it's just with Excel. Now you're going to go download the other one and do it on your own. I would keep this one open. Please make sure you save it. If you have any questions, I will be here tomorrow to help you. And have a good day, guys.